This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, hi, good morning all. So let's get started now. So yesterday we have worked on WinDetails scenario, right? So whenever we pass the Win number, so it fetches the corresponding information. Okay. So now if we pass the Win which does not exist in the database, so it will, it will not display the data. So we need to display a message saying that Win does not exist in the database. Okay. So now, so I'm going to select the PMC 004, which does not exist in the database. So OBJ open is getting failed. So we need to handle this part. Okay.
Your screen is not able to see.
Guys, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Please refresh your screen or re-log in, Venkat.
Okay.
Okay. So now, so we can open the rule from the tracer itself. Okay. Let's say, so you are tracing multiple activities and you want to open the rule which is executed. Okay. So now see, so if you click here, so this corresponding rule will be opened. Okay. So now, if the OBJ open is failed, so we need to display message, otherwise it is not required. Okay. So here, so we have a standard when rules called step status fail and step status good. Okay. So if the step is failed, the step status good returns true. Sorry, step status fail. Okay, note down this. So these are out of the box when rules. Step status fail. Okay, so it returns true if step is failed. Okay, and so we have similar when rule called step status good. Okay, so it returns true if the step is good. Okay, so if the step is fail, it returns true, that is a step status fail, and the step returns true, the step is good. So you need to put this. It returns true if the step is good. Okay, so now, so we have a step status fail when rule, so we need to call that. Okay, so we can call the when rule before executing the step here in the precondition and after executing the step, that is the post condition. We can also call it transition. Okay, we call it jump. Okay, so this is the precondition, this is the transition or post condition. Okay, so now, so where we need to call that when rule? So when we can know whether the step is fail or not, before executing or after executing the step?
After
Right?
executing.
Yeah. So click on jump here, enable the checkbox, and here we can call the step, the when rule call step status fail. So you can open this out of the box window. Okay. So this is the standard function. Okay. Step status fail. So if it is true, that means if the step is failed, so what we need to do? We need to display error message, right?
Error
So
message.
for
Yeah.
that, so we need to jump to the latest step, and to which step we need to jump. So that label we need to specify. Okay. And we need to create a new step with the same label, so that if it is failed directly, it will go to the step where you defined ERR as a label. Okay. So if it is false, that means if the step is good, it will continue. Okay. Clear? Now. So now let's create one more step, ERR. Okay. So that means if it is failed directly, it will come to fifth step. And so here we have a method called property set messages. Okay, this is the new method, right? So you can note down. So properties, note down a few methods here. Property set messages, and we have a page set messages also. So we use the property set messages to display an error message on the property. This is we use to display an error message on top of the screen. Okay, so you are putting in a lot of validations, and so instead of displaying on the property, we can also display on the screen all the messages. Okay, so these are new methods. So here, so we are going to display message on the property called win. So whenever you select the win, it will display message saying that win doesn't exist. Okay, so the category is not required, so you remove it. And the field, so where you want to display it, that is win, and what is the message, we need to put in the double quote. Okay, so win doesn't exist. Okay, clear? So now let's execute the flow. Okay, so let's test this. So I'm going to select PNC 001. What happened? So though we selected the valid one, it displayed the data, and this message should not be displayed here. Okay, so when we use the property set messages here, it is displaying on the top of page also, so we can restrict that. Okay, so we'll do that as part of the UI changes. Okay, so now here if we select the win which does not exist here, then only it has to display message. So when you select PNC 004,
Satya, sorry to interrupt,
yeah,
but we have used only property set message. So why is it displaying on the page?
that's what, like, so we need to handle that. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So generally in some versions, yes, like if you are working on 7.2, So if you use the property set messages, it will not display on top of the page. Okay. So here we have a, the out of the box section, which contains the error messages. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now if you select PNC 004, then only this message has to be displayed, right? So now here what is happening is, so this, the label will not prevent the step from executing. So, let's say obj open is success. So what will happen? Fourth step will be executed and fifth step also will be executed. So now when fourth step is executed, do we need to execute the fifth step? No, right? Look at here. If the step is failed, directly jumping into the fifth step and it will execute and activity will be ended. Okay. So if this step is success, fourth step will be executed and fifth step also will be executed. But if fourth step is executed, so we don't need to execute the fifth step and we can exit from the activity from fourth step itself. Okay. So here in the fourth step transition, so we can always exit from the activity. Okay. So just put, true is true, always true. Okay. And exit the activity. Understand? So you can note down this. In the fourth step transition, if the fourth step is executed, that means obj open is success, so that we don't need to execute fifth step.
So then step 2 jump, what will be the true param? Like what
ERR,
param?
this one.
Okay, the label name.
Yeah. So let's say, if you are not specifying the label, so it will throw another. See, here you define ERR, but nowhere you specified ERR, right?
Yeah.
The label should match so that it will identify and it will go to that step. Okay. So now, so if we select PNC 001, expected, right? So now if we select PNC 004, so it is displaying. So now if you look at here, so the message is getting displayed and this previous data should be removed. Okay. So what we need to do is, so before executing the obj open, and if you have any data available on the clipboard, you can remove that, okay, from the work page. You cannot remove the whole page. Okay. So either you can assign the null values or we have a method called property remove. So you can also use that. Okay. Let's say make. So if you have 10 properties, you need to do in this way only. If it is available in PY workpage, so we should not remove the PY workpage. So what do you understand from this step? So let's say you selected PNC 001, it has displayed the data. So when you select PNC 004, so which does not exist in the database, so you need to remove the old data and you need to display error message. That's what we are doing. Okay. So now see, and let's select PNC 004. So nothing is displaying, right? So this is expected. And we can put the visible condition for this also. Okay. So like, by default, if you don't want to show this, and you can, assign, you can use some property, and based on the property value, you can visible all these properties. Okay. Any questions so far? Hmm. So these are the PY workpage properties, and you need to remove like this. So this is, we assign the null values, and so we have a method called property remove. We can also use this. It is used to remove the properties. Property values it will remove. Okay. You can note down this method also.
Satya, we are actually pulling up the data in step number 4 as of now.
Yeah,
So, we will come to know only after step 4 that the data is not available for this particular ID. So,
exactly.
but we are setting it before that to blank.
Yeah, so if we have already data available, so it will be removed, and if OBJ-open fetches the data, and again we are handling here, right? And it will assign the values to the properties. Okay. So if it is failed, okay, that is fine. So if it is failed, you should not display any data, so that directly it will display error message by executing this step. Okay.
Okay.
So now we commented this one, and so we used property remove, so it will also work. Okay. So let's execute PNC 003, then PNC 004. Okay. So so we can also use property remove method also. Okay. So now, so we created the properties here, make model here. So instead of creating these properties, we can use data class properties. Okay. So for that, what you need to do is, here you will be creating, let's say, a page called win details, and for that page you need to specify win details data class. Okay. So now in the user interface, you'll be calling like win details dot make, win details dot model, and in the activity also you need to modify. So instead of putting py workpage dot make, you need to put py workpage dot win details dot make, like that. Okay. So now if you have a page, so you don't need to use these properties like this. Okay, make model here. So you can directly use the page remove to remove that page called win details. Okay. So can you try that? So that you can do, and so we'll go to the next topic. So is it clear so far? Any questions here? So you need to understand how preconditions and post conditions works, and how to jump from one step to another step on that. Okay. So mainly you need to understand these things. Okay. So here, so can we use the skip wins or not? Already we discussed, right? We can also use the skip wins. So that means this step will be skipped and next step will be executed. Okay. So if we have multiple when rules here, then you need to take care of this, like continue wins. That means if you have another condition defined here, that will also be checked. Okay. So but if you skip, we have one more condition, but you use skip wins, so that second step also will be skipped without checking the condition. Okay. So if you have only one when rule, either if you use continue wins or skip wins, both are same. So if you have another when rule defined, then you need to check that based on the requirement. Okay. And here, so we have a exception, right? On exception, jump to later step label. So sometimes error is different from exception, right? So let's say in this case this is the error, and let's say divide by 0. That is not an error, that is exception. Okay, so the best practice is always you put the same label here also. If it is error or exception, it will directly go to the jump script. But in some situations, like if it is exception, if you want to display different message, then you need to handle that. So let's say ERR1. You define a step with ERR1 and you do whatever you want, like display different message. Okay. So, but generally we put the same message for both error and this one. Okay. Clear? So this is as part of WinDetails screen, right? So now we are going to design one more screen called collect home loan details, which is required for only home loan. Okay. So put heading design or implement home loan details screen. Okay. So this is required for only home loan. So we need to create the screens under home loan class. So we don't need to create under work class. Okay. So the screen is going to be, like this. Okay. So do we have a home in mind? So if borrower is already having a home, so it has to be defaulted to S, otherwise no. Okay. This is based on the loan purpose. In the loan details screen, so we have a loan purpose property. So the values are either loan purpose can be purchase or the refinance. The purchase means, so borrower is going to purchase a new home. It doesn't have a home and purchasing a new one. Refinance, that means, so borrower has home already and is going to, uh, put that home as a collateral and taking the loan. Okay. So in that case, like, borrower will have to enter different details. Okay. So if borrower is having a home already, then he has to enter property information. Otherwise, you need to enter purchase information, saying that, like, so what is the total amount, what is the down payment, asking price, etc. Okay. And here we have a property type. So what kind of property it is. Okay. And so use current address, which is a radio button. And let's say borrower is having, he has a home already, and borrower has to enter the property information, that is address details. Okay. So if borrower select use current address as yes, you need to copy the current address details from borrower details screen to here. Okay. So if use current address is no, then you need to edit the details, to enter the data, enter the address. Okay. Clear? So I think we missed property type, property in the loan details class. Okay. So we need to create that. So we already created with the loan amount, asking price, etc. right, in the loan details. So where you create one more property called property type. So what kind of property it is? So how do we create? So go to the loan details. and create a property called the property type. Which is a drop down. So single family detached. It's like a individual home. And multi-family dwelling. These are the different types of the homes.
So, Satya,
Yeah.
yeah, so whenever we want to add any property, we need to add into the data class only, right? Or not to the work class.
No, so here, so we have, we are defining all the loan related properties under this class. So later, if you want to create, which is related to loan, you can add here. So we can also create in the work class. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So use this, different values like multi-family dwelling. It is like, the apartment where few families resides, and townhouse condominium. It is like gated community where multiple families resides. Okay, just type of the home. Right. So now let's create a section called collect home loan details under home loan class. The step one. So we have already properties defined. Okay. So create a section called collect home loan details. Sorry. So, but here, so we have a home in mind property. So this property we create under work class, yeah, home loan class. So before that, let's create a property called home in mind, and label can be changed. Okay. So property name is home in mind. So this we are creating under work class. If you want, you can still create this property in the that loan details class, and you can reuse it. So generally, so loan purpose, loan type. So these properties are required for both auto loan and home loan, right? So we are creating in the data class and we are using it. And let's say if you're thinking that like these properties are required for home loan, so either you can create either in the data class or directly you can create in the home loan class. Okay. And so this one will be a drop down, and this can be yes or no. Okay. So you can note down this property home in mind. So now let's create a section called collect home loan details. Right. So let's drag the property called home in mind and change the label from home in mind to do we have a home? Okay, so by default, so the label will be same as the property, and if you want, you can change it. Okay, sometimes label will be different from property value. Okay, property name. So do you have a home? Okay, so now let's use other properties called, let's say, property type. So where we have the property type in the loan details, right? So take the control, so which is a drop down, and use the property called loan details dot property type. Okay, next, so let's use separate layout for entering the property info, and another layout is for purchase info. Okay, so this is for property information. If do you have a home value is yes, so this has to be enabled, otherwise this one. Okay, and this is purchase information. So property information is just like entering the address details. So what we do here, so we'll create one more property called use current address, sorry, property info. So property info will be the page property, and for that page we will specify the address details data class. Okay, so how we use for current address and permanent address, we can also use the same data class for this property information also. Okay, clear? So let's create a property info under home loan class and specify the same data class as address details. Okay, so again, we don't need to create address details, right? So we have already a data class for that, and we are using. Clear? So now how can we use these properties? Property info dot address line 1, property info dot address line 2. Okay, so let's refresh and drag it. So here, right? So what is the page name? Property info. Okay, like this. Make it inline grid double. Okay, right? So now let's create one more property called use current address, which will be a radio button. So yes or no. Okay, if use current address is yes, you need to copy the borrower current address details to here. Otherwise, you need to make it editable. Okay, the same way how we did current address and permanent address. Okay, and you can reuse the same data transform, or you can create a new one. So you try to put logic in the same data transform. Otherwise, let's create a new one. Okay. So let's create a property called use current address. PX radio buttons. Enter the values in the local list. Values are yes and no. Okay. So now let's use this property. Use current address. Okay. So this is radio button, right? So you can change the control from here also. This one also will be a radio button. Change from drop down to radio buttons. Okay. And now see, and if you want to change the presentation, so these values are getting displayed vertically, and you can display them horizontally. Okay, like this. Clear? So now here we created uh, this property, and this one use current address. Yeah, and so we created a property info page property also, right? So now, so this is related to the purchase information. So here, let's use the properties called amount, which will be the loan amount. Okay, and asking price and down payment. Okay, so let's use the control text input because we need to enter this data, right? So what is the property for loan? So loan details dot amount, so which is the loan amount. So whatever the amount you enter in the second screen, that will be displayed here. And down payment. Take the text input and call the property. Loan details dot down payment and asking price, the total value of the home. Take the control this is asking price. Clear? So now based on the home in mind property value, so we need to display these layouts. Okay, if it is yes, display the property info. If it is no, display purchase information layout. But so this, value is dependent on the loan purpose value. Okay, if loan purpose is equivalent to purchase, and this value has to be defaulted to no. If loan purpose is refinance, that means borrower has a home already. Okay, so in that case, so this value has to be displayed defaulted to yes. Any questions? Clear, right? So now, so where we have that loan purpose property, in which screen? The second screen called loan details, right? So we have 3 different screens in the home loan. So borrower details, then this one loan details, and collect home loan details. So now we have a loan purpose property in the loan details screen, correct? And the values are purchase and refinance. Those are drop down values. And we have how many flow actions? It will be 3 flow actions, right? Let's say this is one flow action, and here we'll have one more flow action. So that we will create now. Okay, this is our flow. And this is initial connected. Okay, so now here we have a flow action, and here, okay, 2 flow actions. So now if the loan purpose is purchase, then default the home and mind property value to no. If it is loan purpose is refinance, default it to yes. So now where we need to call the logic. So here we have a flow action, and so if you handle that logic through data transform or activity, so we need to invoke in the flow action. So in the flow action, so we have pre-processing as well as post-process. That means while executing, while displaying the screen, the rules will be executed if you invoke in the pre-processing, and post-processing rules will be executed upon screen submission. Okay, so now, so where we need to call either activity or data transform in the post-processing or pre-processing. Either we can call in the post-processing of this flow action, because at the time of execution, you should have the loan purpose property value on the clipboard. So let's say if you invoke in the pre-processing, so while opening the screen itself, that will be executed at the at that time, so you will not have the value for loan purpose. Okay, so either you need to invoke in the post-processing of this flow action or pre-processing of this flow action. Okay, but so this is a common flow action we created under work class. And if you create the logic, so we have home in mind property, all the values in the home loan class. So we cannot call this rule in this flow action because that is available in the work class. So either we can use the utility shape or we can call in the pre-processing of this flow action. Okay, clear or any question?
What is the last point? Can you please repeat?
So no. So where we have loan details flow action in the work class, right? But we are writing the logic in the home loan class. So we cannot use this activity or data transform in the work class flow action. Okay, so you need to save as into home loan and you can call it otherwise. So this flow action will be specific to home loan, so and you can call in the pre-processing of this. Okay, clear? Or else, so if we are writing the logic in the activity, so we can also use the utility shape. So have we used utility shape?
No, not yet.
Okay, so we'll do that in the next scenario. So now what we need to do is, yeah, so we will write a data transform. Okay, so based on the condition, just we are assigning the value to the property. Okay, so if you are able to do by using the data transform, so we need to, we don't need to go for activity, right? So let's create a data transform called home in mind So if it's the activity, so you can put the conditions, the like when rule or expression in the precondition, before executing the step. So you will check whether loan purpose is purchased. If it is purchased, you will use the property set and assign the value. Okay. So here, tell me, so how can we put the conditions?
When?
First, we need to check the value of loan purpose. Okay. So how can we check that? So what is the action we need to use? When, right? So what is the
When.
when? Yeah. So here you can put either expression or you can create a when rule. Okay. So now let's use expression. Loan details dot loan purpose is purchase, then see, set the value. What is the property? Home in mind. And the value will be no. So purchase, that means borrower is going to purchase a new home and home in mind. So do we have a home already? Value will be no. If it is the refinance, the value will be yes. So now put the cursor here, and so we are here, we have only two values, right? Either purchase or refinance. So if we have multiple values, okay, and again you need to put otherwise when, and you can put that condition. Okay, since we have only two possibilities, you can use otherwise. Okay, or else if you want, you can also put the condition. Take the same expression and you can directly set the value, right? Otherwise, home in mind. Okay. So if it is the activity, you need to write how many steps? 2 steps. In the precondition, you will be putting loan details dot loan purpose equivalent to purchase. If it is true, continue and property set will be executed. So if it is false, you will skip the step. So if it is a purchase, so let's say you specified the condition loan purpose equivalent to purchase, but it is refinance. So you need to skip the first step and make it execute second step. Okay. In the second step, condition will be loan details dot loan purpose is refinance and property set. Or else what you can do is, okay, let's write an activity also. So if it is activity, the conditions will be the same. Okay. So now tell me, how can we put that? Same condition, right? Loan details dot loan purpose is purchase, then continue or skip. Continue. Otherwise, that means if it is not purchased, skip the step. And here set is equivalent to property set, right? Home in mind is, what is the value? No. Understanding or not? So if it is refinance, so we need to assign the different value, right? So you copy the same step, paste it. So now you put the refinance. If it is a refinance, continue, otherwise skip the step. But here you need to assign S value.
Refinance spelling seems wrong. I think.
Which one?
Refinance spelling.
Okay. Right? Yeah. So now if this condition is satisfied, this step will be executed. And if the second condition is satisfied, second step will be executed. So now let's say if first condition is satisfied, so do we need to check the second condition? So either it will be a purchase or refinance. If it is a purchase, even we don't need to go for second step to check that condition, right? So we can always exit this. If it comes to the transition, that means the first step is executed. If the first step is executed, we don't need to go for second step. Okay, so exit activity. So even if you are not putting this, nothing will happen. It will work. But so in order to avoid the multiple steps execution, so we can handle in this way. Okay. Any question? So always so while creating an activity or data transform, so now you try in the both the ways, so that will help you a lot. So like you can determine in which scenarios you need to go for data transform and activity. Okay. And sometimes in some applications, so if you are writing an activity, so they will not give you the approval to move the code. So in that case, like you need to convert again all the activities into data transforms. So if you predict so while creating itself, then like you will not face these kind of issues. Okay. So in these scenarios, so we need to always choose data transform. Okay, clear? So now, so we have a section ready. Okay, so what is the next step? So you can create this logic part after creating the flow action also. Okay, let's create a flow action call. Sorry, process, right? Collect home loan details. Okay, so invoke the section. Now go to the home loan flow and invoke the flow action. So this will be the third screen. Add one more assignment. Take the connector. Okay, so that's it. Now go to the flow action, and so we have a logic to invoke. Sorry, we have a logic to calculate. Sorry, to determine home in mind, right? So if it is activity, you need to call here. If it is a data transform, you can call here. So you need to invoke in the pre-processing, not in the post-processing of this flow action. Okay. So now let's execute. So here you must need to select either purchase or refinance. It is a mandate. Okay, let's say I'm selecting purchase. So what will be the value? Home in mind value? No, right? So now we can trace it. So if we click on submit, this flow action post-processing rules and the next flow action pre-processing rules will be executed. Okay, so we do not have any rules in the post-processing of this flow action, but we have a data transform in the pre-processing, right? So that will be executed. So now let's submit it. So the data transform has been executed. So unexpected outcome is, do we have a home is no. And you can make it read only because we are defaulting automatically. Okay. So again, like, so if we are defaulted based on the loan purpose, we should not allow user to change this value, right? So we need to make it read only. And since it is no, this layout should not be displayed. So only purchase information has to be displayed. So again, you need to put the condition for the layouts that you know already. So you can handle that. Okay. So based on the home in mind property, you can put the visible condition. Okay. Clear? So now look at this data transform. So the first step is satisfied, right? It returns true. Okay. And it assigns the value. So and you don't see the second step execution, right? So if it is refinanced, then it will go to the second step. Okay. And so you handle this part also. If you select use current address as yes, let's say if do we have a home is yes, that means if the loan purpose is refinance, this layout will be visible and this property also. Okay. So if home in mind is yes, you make it visible both property information layout as well as this property. And if user select use current address as yes, immediately it has to display the data of the current address details. So whatever the current address details you entered as part of the first screen, those details should be displayed here. So on click of this button, you will be calling the data transform. So either you can call the existing data transform like copy address details, or you can create a new one. So if you are invoking the existing one, and it should not impact on the current and permanent address details. If you go to the clipboard, you should see the same data which entered as part of the first screen. Okay. So what you can do is in the clipboard, you will see this screen related conditions. Okay. So if you look at new assign page, so py task name something, py default task status. Okay. So you can use this condition, new assign page. This is assignment related details. So we'll explain about this page later. Just for now, you can use this new assign page dot py default start task status is equivalent to collect home loan details. Then your logic will be executed. Okay. And if it is not, then the previous logic will be executed. Okay. So that so when you call the same activity here, so existing logic will not be executed, so that it will not impact on the clipboard data. Clear?
So then the home flow, where have we called the flow action collect home loan details?
Yes. Yeah, we
Where,
invoked the flow.
yeah, where did we invoke that? Like after the assignment, right?
In the assignment, yeah. So every assignment will have a flow action, right?
So okay,
Here we invoke.
okay.
Any question? Make
Yeah,
it
regarding the last point.
yeah. Tell me.
Yeah, like what is the purpose of using that field?
Which one?
The default, like the OOTB field you said. You just showed us on the clipboard.
Okay. So this one just to put the condition. See. So we have okay. If you want, you can create a new data transform also. So we have a data transform. Okay, let me open that. but again, so this is in the work class, so you cannot reuse. So again, you need to save as into home loan, okay? Or you can create, you create a new one. So create a new data transform, it will be very simple, right? So if use current address as yes, it's like, it will be like this, and update the page called property info by taking the values from current address. Otherwise we'll be setting the same data transform, you can copy it, but the condition will be changed here, and instead of permanent you will be specifying property info, and here also it will be property info. That's it, okay? So if you want to handle in the same activity, so here you need to put one more condition, okay? So if copy current address details equivalent to true, and new assign page dot p by default start task status not equivalent to that home loan details. And for your logic, if p by default start and new assign page dot default task status is equivalent to home loan details, then your logic will be executed, okay? So if
Got
you
it.
want to reuse the same, understand, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
yeah. So in order to avoid the confusion, so you can, but you need to know this way also, because sometimes if you have already rules, again you should not create it, so you have to reuse the existing rules, okay? You try this one. So you put the visible conditions, and upon selection of this current address value, you need to copy current address to permanent. That is the requirement, so you can try that, okay? So try that, like if you stuck somewhere or if you need any help, so let me know, right? So that's it for today, so we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Satya.
Thank you, sir.